Hello everyone, my name is Antazil and today we'll be playing as the Soviet Union. Let's have a look. I've been thinking about doing a strategy where you just balloon out of control as the Soviet Union with a lot of extra expansion before facing off the Germans. It's a completely anti-historical path, but it's quite fun conquering with an overpowered nation. Now, the one way to go would be my Soviet Onion video from before BBA. That probably still works, where you go after Turkey, Poland, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Japan, China, and the Baltics before going after the Germans. That's already very strong. This time I'm going to do a variation of that and a variation of an old strategy I had lying around. We're not going after Turkey and Romania first, but we'll be going for Denmark and the Netherlands. Denmark and the Netherlands? Are you insane? Well, they border the North Sea and they give us an inroad to an obvious enemy for later on. I intend to take out the Allies before I go to war with the Germans. To get naval supremacy over the British, I need a fleet, and I'll get one from the Japanese. To get naval supremacy over the Japanese, I'll need a fleet. I'll get one from the Dutch, and I'll start building myself one. So let's get started. As for research, we'll start with the generics and we'll branch off into different directions later on. Construction-wise, we'll queue up some civilian factories, but we'll be adding other stuff like infrastructure later to the mix. Production-wise, I'd like to set it up as follows. I add anti-air to the mix and expanded artillery and support equipment, deleted the light tanks and added a few trucks and the rest into guns. The Navy, I'll finish one of each which is building. That also means I'm going to cancel those 12 crappy subs and just finish the one. And after that we'll add some other stuff. Focus-wise, this is probably possible while doing a civil war, though very difficult. I'll just go with Papa Stalin this time. We have a big army. I'm going to reorganize it as follows. Here we are, 18 NKVD divisions, 13 mountaineers, 12 armor and 1 motorized. I'll put them on a fallback line here on Kiev. The location is random, doesn't really matter. And 3 armies of 24 divisions. I'll put the primary one, the first one, on Leningrad with a fallback line, so they'll all gather there. I'll set the entire army and the other guys to exercise. I'll also gather up the Air Force and the Navy all here in Leningrad, and before I forget, all these ships should spawn here in Leningrad, otherwise you run the risk of them spawning in Crimea. Alright, with this setup out of the way, we'll just create an intelligence agency and we begin. Placing those mountaineers here on Vladivostok. I'll convert them into Marines later on. Doing so many naval invasions, I thought I'd use Marines for this. For your intelligence agency, it doesn't really matter, except I'd like to get Invisible Ink and Naval Department because I'm going to infiltrate a few navies. Path of Marxism-Leninism is done, and we'll move towards the center. We also have 46 political power, which is almost enough to go after, wait for it, Denmark. 50 political power. Our next target will be not the Netherlands, but the Dutch East Indies, and they will take 75 political power, so we'll need to save up a little. The center is done, and we'll do the Stalin Constitution. Going to try and infiltrate Japan with my spies. Not to worry if it doesn't work. It's for extra bonus only. We'll mobilize the armed forces, and that will give us this event. We have a discount justifying on the Dutch East Indies now costs us 72 political power. Let's go. I've set up a naval invasion for Denmark with teams of 2 divisions on the port of Aarhus and the 2 tiles next to it. And, if you can see it here, an arrow on the port of Odense and one here to cut off the Copenhagen garrison to reinforce. Meanwhile, Stalin Constitution is done, and we'll do the Xenoviet Terrorist Center. Xenoviet Terrorist Center is done, and we'll have to wait for a while, so we'll do the Comintern. And that's the Comintern. Spanish Civil War has fired off, so send military advisors to Spain is a good way to get some experience. Military advisors to Spain is done. We'll go for addressing internal affairs. The new Soviet woman, I often overlook it, but it's 10% stability and some political power, so let's do that one right now. I'm saving up some political power for later on. And I'm also getting some paranoia events. What I want to do is go to war economy, but my war support is somewhat flimsy, so I'll go for war propaganda as soon as this war kicks off, and that's 150 PP now. Set the Navy to naval invasion support, set the army to go, and just declare war on the Danish. The naval invasion launches, and we can do war propaganda. Woohoo! We certainly need it. Both ports are contested, but we should be able to take them out with the supporting attacks on the flanks. And this is looking very promising indeed. Most of Denmark is now gone. We'll sort things out over here. And this is important. We need to build a port as soon as possible on this tile here. You can build a higher level port. I think I'll do that and put it on the top here. We need a port on this side of the Danish belt in order to invade the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Soviet woman is done. And we have 35 days to do something. We'll get that propaganda stuff. That's always nice to work with. We'll take all states. And we'll take the fleet. We now have over 50 war support, so we can also go to war economy. Expand the Agitprop is done, and we'll wait a day, and then we can do the anti-Soviet Trotskyite Center. Oh, I really hate this one, the corruption against civil servants, because that will eat into my political power gain and construction speed. But I can manage a little paranoia, so I'll just go for an absurd overreaction. I'll try to save up some political power so I can forge satisfactory production reports later. I can also do something over here. We'll do the production buff. Yeah. Here's the second Moscow trial, and we can still do the worker dictatorship. I just want to get rid of that paranoia whenever I can. Move the fleet over to this new Jutland base before war breaks out. The worker dictatorship is done. I'll branch out briefly here to strengthen the mobilization plan so we can later take desperate measures. Justification for Sumatra is done. Let's go to Sumatra and declare war. And our naval invasion is launching. Let's have a look. The port of Den Helder has fallen, and that is the end of the Netherlands. These flanking troops can go to The Hague and Rotterdam. And the main invasion force Amsterdam, Utrecht, Eindhoven. Press S to split and set to Arnhem. And this one is not even necessary, it's just pinning troops here. Leeuwarden, Groningen for more victory points. And there go the Netherlands. We'll go to the Dutch East Indies and puppet them. As for the Netherlands, I like to just take them. No, I'll just puppet them as well. I like to puppet those as well. Take Navy, select all, more ships. The Soviet Netherlands. This hurts, I can tell you that. Strengthen the mobilization plan is done. Let's have a look here. 70 days left. And we can't do the Japanese stuff yet. We have to go for Threat of the Rising Sun. So we'll do NKVD primacy. We can now make a 14 with marine template, so I suggest you do that. We have the stuff for it, no problem. Cohesion first is done. Japan declared war on China. We'll take the German-Soviet treaty. And we'll do the military conspiracy first, before we go after the focuses to take care of Japan. It's a slight delay, but getting rid of paranoia is so much better. The trial of the generals, we lose a few generals. We'll take care of the snake later. I'm going to rush for the war goal with Japan, which is here. Recover the Kuril Islands, so we need to go Frederick the Rising Sun, Gobi Gambit, prepare a war with Japan, and over there. Let's go. Gobi Gambit is done and we'll prepare for a war with Japan. Gobi Gambit is accepted. Invasion order is done. Let's put the Air Force up here with naval strike. Recover the Kuril Islands is done and we can declare war on Japan immediately. That disrupts the 5-year plan, but that's not really too bad. We can now go back over here. Can we do this one? No, we can't, but we can do behead the snake. Although, now that we are at war with a major, we should do desperate measures first. The naval invasion has launched. We got lucky on that one. And my other generals have green arrows, so we'll just invade Manchukuo here for extra war participation. Now let's have a look here. The main army was spread out here a little, and I'll gather them in Vladivostok to help out. And we immediately got the port here, so that's very good. Well, I didn't expect it otherwise, of course. And we'll start micromanaging our way through this mess. Bring over the boys. Set our naval guys to convoy escort. Desperate measures is done. And now we can go for the block of Trotsky. Yikes. Yes, please. We'll do that. In terms of war participation, we're doing quite well, but we do need quite a bit of war participation to grab all of the fleet. The Moscow trial is done and we'll be able to do behead the snake, finally. Also means I'll just start preparing a network in Mexico. You can see I'm slowly beating the Japanese, but it's very slow work. I am of course still suffering from debuffs here. But my general is leveling up very nicely. We are currently at 66%, that's probably enough. Oh, and we accidentally capitulated him. Doesn't really matter. You can probably farm for just a bit more, but this is about as good as it gets. Now, ordinarily I puppet Japan, but I want to go for a quick war with the Allies now. So I'll click Take Navy and start taking Navy. Pass, and that's good enough. That focus that completed here was Restoration and Development. That means we can now go for the Comic-Con as soon as we have 200 factories. With the puppets we are going to build, that's going to be huge. But for now, we are done with Soviet Japan, and we're going to set our sights over here, back to the United Kingdom. Alright, let's also justify war goal on Malaya. 80 days, that's not so bad. That's about 2 months. It's a bit too fast, really. In my test run, I declared war on the UK too early. World tension is already too high, and then the Czechoslovaks joined the Allies. The Germans still have their war goal from Sudetenland. Germany joins the war and for some reason rakes up all the war participation. So I want to declare war after September. May, June, July, August, 5 months. We'll have to wait a bit, it's no problem. Let's also move our newly acquired navy over to the Netherlands. That's Behead the Snake. We'll go for Baltic security now. That's more free territory. And we'll do the subtle assassination. We'll do this guy here. He's a commando. Baltic security, and we'll do claims in Baltic. It's also July 1st now, and I'm willing to go against Malaya. 85 days, that's fine. I edited the elite template to make it a 20 free with 10 infantry, 1 artillery, and all the support companies that I currently have. The marine template currently looks like this: 7 marines and the support equipment that I can afford. And we'll go for the superior firepower. It's expensive, but we have to do something here. Unit conference is done. That also means we're probably almost ready to invade Malaya. 20 days. Conquering of Singapore war goal is done, and we'll declare war directly on the United Kingdom. And we'll justify a war goal here on Belgium. France has joined, which is the exact reason we're doing this. For some reason, well, my naval invasion is launching. Barely though, and that with these massive fleets taking care of business here. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah. Contested ports. We'll have to work for them then. We have the hull ports. We'll try to get Newcastle as well. And here's Popov's army. We'll ship them across. Whatever's left of the navy, we'll put them on convoy escorts. Let's see if as many of those troops can get through as possible. We'll also grab here Vasily Chukov's army and ship them over to Leningrad and then to the Netherlands. Just in case I need to invade through Belgium. UK is naval invading Iceland. Well, good luck with that. Currently attacking London. Southern England naval invasion, Novgorod. That doesn't sound good. Seriously invading me here? Go ahead. Fall of London. They invaded Denmark. That's not so good. I blink and suddenly this happens. What the hell? The snaking is incredible. It's just a handful of units, but they managed to get all over my beautiful UK. I'll just have to wheel these guys around and do it all over again. And I will. Where do these guys come from? I just conquered their entire country and suddenly they have a complete new army. Also, I feel like I'm conquering the UK twice now, which I pretty much am. That's the UK capitulated. Czechoslovakia now joins France. This is incredible. Where do these units even come from? We're just swarming into recently conquered territory. Let's call in the Dutch and get this over with. Oh man. Beauty of it, UK no longer counts as capitulated. I have to conquer them again. I suck. That's France, and we're back to conquering the UK. For again. Czechs have capitulated. At least the Germans won't get more war score now. 70%, it's manageable, I guess. And here we are, finally. Well, that wasn't the quick and easy win that I had envisioned, but still, we're here. We're also here with the Germans. They got quite a bit of war score. We'll just have to make do. Let's start with what I really want. Canada. Select all. And the UK. Select all. I can't take all yet, that just yet. Alright, I'm not going to turn this into a world conquest. But I am going to finish off taking out the allies by taking out the last ally, the United States. The boys are streaming into Canada. I've got my traditional lines set up. Zhukov here got also some elite forces. Well, at least the not so crappy ones. And here's the war goal. No need to wait around. Let's go. Goal in Canada. And set the main armies to go. The other ones as well. Everyone who looks happy is going in there. Yes, the Reds have entered Washington. USSR occupies eastern Poland, and our future border is looking quite nicely. The advantage of doing a collaboration government is that you're done faster. I am on a timetable here. The Germans will betray me, and I need my troops to be over here then. Right now, they're not. I just have this one reserve army. I'll put it on the border here. And that's the United States already. I'm just going to puppet all of these guys. Because I called in Canada, I can't do that in one go. Alright, I'll click every state. North American Socialist Republic. And it's 1940. I'm not going to finish this game. Well, maybe I am, but I'm not going to broadcast it. So it's 1940, and the Comintern looks like this. All over the world, except for this blip here in the middle. So this is a very strong strategy for the Soviets to start with. I do have to say, fighting the Allies was quite difficult and micro-intensive because, well, frankly, the Red Army is still trash at this point. I hadn't taken lessons of war. There's just too many debuffs for both the Army and the Air Force to make this really an easy opening strategy. So proceed at your own risk. Try it yourself and let me know what happened. Until then, see you next time. Bye bye.